Thank you for watching this channel. This channel provides easy to understand and excellent books in Japan in English, and provides useful information for practical equipment design. This time, we will explain about water supply calculations. We will start to explain based on M&A design standard book in Japan. We call Brown Book. Section 1, Basic Rules. Do not connect piping equipment to drinking water line and others. Do not to lay out any piping equipment above drinking water tanks. Both basic rule is to avoid contamination and keeping healthy drinking water. If you want to connect drinking water to equipment for non-drinking purpose, should be isolate from the pollutions all of the time. As of the general things, Item 3, to consider equipment to prevent backflow, reverse siphon and water hammer. Item 4, to consider the measure about water saving. To make zoning is one of the important tasks for designer. For example, the billing. Kitchen vendor is coming outside will work in the kitchen, but office and utility using by owner. In that case, better to add meter for kitchen line. Of course, kitchen like should not mix other area. So, you can clarify the basis of billing. These are basic rule of water supply. If you want to make isolation from the gap, better to keep more than 150 mm. We will not deeply explain each item. Please read through if you have time. Earthquakes occur frequently in Japan. We consider the function to detect an earthquake and automatically close the valve. It can be prevent water leakage due to an earthquake and to secure a water source during a fire or evacuation life. We think this equipment is unique to Japan, but it can be applied to various design concepts for your requirement. Section 2, Calculation of water requirement. We will explain about calculation of the amount of water used. First, we will fix about occupant. After that, if there is water to be used in the cooling tower or for production and experiment, we will add the amount of water used. We will start actual calculation. First, let's check the type of building and the number of occupant. There is data in table 2 to 1. We can pick up the value and calculate as per formula. This is the sample of entire table 2 to 1 in Japan for your reference. Next, let's convert the amount of water per hour. There is working time information in table 2 to 1. There are multiple uses in one building, and there are people who work at various times. In such cases, calculate them individually and add them up. Calculate the maximum amount of water per hour by multiplying by a factor. Then, the water usage calculation is complete. Section 3, Tank. The tank here is assumed for the drinking water tank. Therefore, in order to supply safe drinking water, it is necessary to be able to visually check the entire tank. Sufficient space must be secured from 6 sides. Then, tank size to be decided from peak maximum water volume per minute. There are basic rules for keeping drinking water healthy. All are very important rules. Item 1. In Japan, city water is usually directly used for drinking water. However, if the control valve breaks down, a double safe system is installed so that water will not be supplied endlessly and water will not run out. Item 3. Tank control is required to prevent chlorine for disinfection from being released by storing water for a long period of time. Generally, 1 day is a standard. Item 4. Detailed view of the water tank is available. I will introduce the URL later. Item 5. If the water is cut off due to cleaning the tank, the operation will be affected. Divide into 2 or more and plan to supply water even during cleaning. Item 6. Criteria for selecting the size of the ventilation pipe. Item 7. Criteria for selecting the size of the overflow pipe. Item 8. This is the space requirement for drinking water tank. As mentions, top 100 cm clearance, side 60 cm clearance, bottom 60 cm clearance to be required. Item 9. This is the requirement for terrace tanks. Terrace tank is generally put on the terrace. Therefore, to consider handrail and ladder as per requirement. This is the typical detail drawing for tank and pumps in Japan. You can get master file from the following URL. For tank detail, steel tank and FRP tanks. Piping arrangement detail around pumps. Horizontal pump and vertical pump. Piping arrangement for receiving tank and terrace tank. Let's move to selection method. We will proceed with for tank selection. We are considering like this system. We have receiving tank to receive the water from city water line. Then pump up the water to terrace tank to keep the water pressure for each floor. On the upper floors, the height of the tank is not enough, so consider pressurizing with a feeder pump. Receiving tank capacity can be calculated from this formula. We consider storage time 1 to 2 hours basically. Next for terrace tank, we consider storage time 0.5 hours basically. In Japan, safe water can be supplied almost without interruption. Therefore, there is an infrastructure background that excessive tank size is unnecessary. The criteria for this selection will depend on the infrastructure situation in each country. Please check the selection method that suits for your country. Thank you very much and see you next movies.